gotta admit, there's those two magic letters that everyone isn't concerned about right now, and that's
Mm,
artificial intelligence, AI. And whether that's represented as agents or just workflows, hyper automation. Well, the business leaders, and actually, even quite honestly, the business users themselves, whether it's in supply chain, whether it's asset management, finance, people, HR, common users, they're looking to say, well, what can artificial intelligence do for me without replacing me? And now the CIO, they are being urged to explore and say, what can artificial intelligence do for us? Well, going back to our initial thesis, the argument that the monolithic ERP is actually a hindrance, when you have this big block, it's really hard to then get into the workflows and say, well, how can we then extract the right data or observe the right workflows and maybe change it and automate a lot of this? However, with a more composable architecture that's centered around integration and data management and security and visibility and analytics, you can now be able to take that maybe an agent and onboard an agent in a very safe way and do some exploration to say, does this make our business better? Can we possibly maybe insert an agent when it comes to travel and expense? That's something fairly harmless there. Insert that into travel expense and be able to have some fraud detection or some duplication detection, or make the process faster. Everyone wants faster, but they don't necessarily want to be replaced. So maybe now the CIO says, well, if we put that into play, we put this agent into play, is it safe? Is it faster? Is it better for the business? And they contact all the various people that are involved, say, all right, so if we made it better and faster, more secure, how can we benefit the people better? So the when you look at this more composable architecture, it allows it to be able to say, let's test, let's hypothesize around onboarding an AI agent. Let's onboard a data lake, or let's transform to a data lake. Let's have a way to be able to onboard and offboard this artificial intelligence to see, does it actually work for us? And then if it does, what are the business implications and how can we make our business better? And we came up with this, we coined this term composable ERP, and I was the lead author for that. At first, we got a lot of questions. Well, what's different than postmodern ERP? What's different than best of breed? But what happened is, as we described, you want to be able to, there are times when the larger chunks, the vendors that provide the more wider capabilities around finance or asset management, or they blend them all together and they do a really good job with the workflows around maybe an order to cash or procure to pay or, a promise to order, things like that. They do really good workflows, and absolutely, let's take those larger chunks of software, but let's still have an architecture that is focused in on integration that allows you to, it's overstating it to say simply swap in and out, but you kind of get the idea that with cloud software, you no longer have an asset in your data center. And so, yeah, there's some ways to be able to have some, uh, if you want to call it, layers of applications that can be taken in and out. Some of these may be monetized. So this
okay.
idea of composable ERP is get as many vendors as gives you the flexibility, but as few vendors as actually fit the need. You don't necessarily go best of breed just because it's best of breed. Just because from Tim Fate said, "Oh, go crazy with integration. Integration is magic." That's crazy talk. And even I would say, don't go to get 100 applications just because you have 100 business problems. But I would say, not there's no one bullet. There's no one magic solution. You can't wave the magic with the one magic wand. So what you do is you find the things that actually benefit the business, but the composable architecture centered around integration and data management then allows you to change afterwards. Because, maybe your business is so great, they say, let's buy competitors or let's do new things. Let's investigate Internet of Things. Let's start getting field services involved and branch out into new things. And so, again, this whole idea of composable ERP, let's find the right solutions. And if many solutions come from one vendor, fantastic. But
I,
don't
yeah.
constrain yourself to that.